sulcus bicipitalis lateralis and sulcus bicipitalis medialis, both of them between biceps and musculus brachialis. And canal. This canal is between humerus and triceps. Humerus and triceps, and between them we have canal, canalis humera muscularis, and radial nerve. This is, here it is, radial nerve. This nerve continues into this canal, canalis humera muscularis. Next, muscles of forearm. Forearm has anterior muscles and posterior muscles. Anterior muscles consist of superficial and deep. Superficial muscles are musculus pronator teres, here it is. All superficial muscles start from medial epicondyle of humerus. That is why it starts from medial epicondyle and attached to radius. Pronator teres, function, pronation of forearm and flexion in elbow joint. Next superficial muscle, musculus flexor carpi radialis. This muscle, flexor carpi radialis. And this muscle, tendon of this muscle, continues into the canal under the retinaculum flexorum, that is canalis carpi radialis. Function, flexion in radiocarpal joint, flexion in elbow joint, and abduction in radiocarpal joint. Next, musculus flexor digitorum superficialis, superficial flexor of fingers, flexor digitorum superficialis. This muscle subdivides into 4 tendons. They pass under the retinaculum flexorum and continues to fingers from 2nd till 5th. And each tendon separates into 2 branches, and they attach laterally from middle finger, here and here and here and here. 2 branches in each tendon of superficial flexor. And last superficial muscle, that is musculus flexor carpi ulnaris. Flexion in elbow joint, flexion in radiocarpal joint, and adduction in radiocarpal joint. They are superficial. One superficial muscle, here it is absent. It is musculus palmaris longus. In this corp is absent, and it's absent in 40% in human population. It's absent in 40% of pupils. This aponeurosis palmaris, that is thick fascia of the palmar surface of the hand, that is place of attachment of this long palmar muscle, but in this corp it is absent. Now deep muscles. This is long flexor of thumb, musculus flexor pollicis longus. Here it is, flexor pollicis longus. Next, deep flexor of fingers, musculus flexor digitorum profundus. This muscle, the same, pass below of retinaculum flexorum. Then it pass through space between 2 branches of superficial flexor, goes to distal phalanx and attach to the distal phalanx. Participate in flexion of fingers and flexion in whole hand. And last, deep muscle. That is musculus pronator teres. It was pronator teres here, and this is pronator quadratus. Musculus pronator quadratus, that is main pronator. Pronation in pronation of forearm. That is pronation in distal and proximal radio-ulnar joints. That is with the help of this muscle, musculus pronator quadratus, between ulna and radius. They are anterior muscles, and here it is, you should know three groups. Sulcus radialis, it is here, sulcus medianus here, and sulcus ulnaris here. Sulcus radialis, radial groove between musculus flexor carpi radialis and this muscle, musculus brachioradialis, it is from posterior side. Sulcus medianus between flexor carpi radialis and flexor digitorum superficialis. And sulcus ulnaris between flexor carpi ulnaris and flexor digitorum superficialis, that is ulnar groove. Now, posterior muscles. Posterior muscles of forearms, the same, subdivides into superficial and deep, and superficial muscles consist of radial group and ulnar group. In radial group, we have musculus brachioradialis, musculus extensor carpi radialis longus and musculus extensor carpi radialis brevis. These three muscles in radial group. Musculus brachioradialis, it put our hand in middle position between supination and pronation, that is middle position in supination and pronation, that is free hand in this position. That is why in time of supination this muscle move hand in middle position, or in time of pronation it also move it to the middle position between supination and pronation. And these two muscles, musculus extensor carpi radialis longus and brevis, extension in radiocarpal joint and abduction, together with musculus flexor carpi radialis. Next, ulnar group of superficial muscles. Musculus extensor digitorum, musculus extensor digiti minimi, and musculus extensor carpi ulnaris. Extensor digitorum clear, participate in extension of fingers and extension of whole hand. Extensor digiti minimi, that is, little finger has its own extensor. And extensor carpi ulnaris, extension of whole hand and adduction in radiocarpal joint. They are superficial muscles, and now deep muscles. Musculus abductor pollicis longus here, musculus extensor pollicis brevis, musculus extensor pollicis longus, and musculus extensor indicis, own extensor of index finger, musculus extensor indicis. They are deep muscles, and last deep muscle impossible to see here, necessary to remove most of them. In this case we will see musculus supinator muscle. In dorsal surface of the hand we have fascia antebrachii, and this fascia makes a retinaculum for extensors muscles, retinaculum extensorum. And this retinaculum, it has facial septum between retinaculum and bones, and subdivides space below of this retinaculum into 6 canals. And you should know which tendon pass through which canal under the retinaculum. For example, in first canal we have tendons of 2 muscles. This musculus abductor pollicis longus and this extensor pollicis brevis. These 2 tendons pass through first canal under the retinaculum extensorum. In second canal, tendons of musculus extensor carpi radialis longus and musculus extensor carpi radialis brevis. That is the second canal. Third canal, look here. Here it is, third canal. It has only one tendon for musculus extensor pollicis longus. Fourth canal, that is 4 tendons of musculus extensor digitorum, and 1 tendon for musculus extensor indicis. That is why 5 tendons in fourth canal. Fifth canal, only 1 tendon for musculus extensor digiti minimi, and 6th canal for tendon of musculus extensor carpi ulnaris. Muscles of the hand. Muscles of the hand consist of muscles of tenor, opposite to thumb, muscles of hypotenor, opposite to little finger, and middle group of muscles. In tenor, most superficial muscle of tenor, that is musculus abductor pollicis brevis. Here was musculus abductor pollicis longus in forearm, and in tenor, that is musculus abductor pollicis brevis. Laterally from this muscle and below of it, musculus apponens pollicis here, and this muscle, that is tendon of long flexor, here it is, tendon of long flexor, and near this muscle, here and here, we have 2 heads of short flexor, musculus flexor pollicis brevis. And this muscle, this is musculus adductor pollicis, adductor. They are muscles of tenor. In hypotenor, one muscle here it is absent, musculus palmaris brevis, it is under the skin and here it is absent. This is abductor digiti minimi and flexor digiti minimi. And in middle group, here it is 4 musculi lumbricalis, here it is first muscle, musculus lumbricalis first, here it is, this is second muscle. They are 4 in number. Here it is, this is third, and this is fourth. 4 musculi lumbricalis. These muscles start from tendon of flexor muscles, then surround metacarpophalangeal joints in radial side, and in dorsal surface attached to tendon of extensor of fingers. That is why musculi lumbricalis participate in flexion in metacarpophalangeal joints and extension in interphalangeal joints. This movement, flexion here and extension here, that is musculi lumbricalis. And interossal muscles, impossible to see, musculi interossei palmaris and musculi interossei dorsalis, palmar and dorsal interossal muscles. Dorsal muscles participate in abduction and palmar muscles in adduction. Abduction from middle finger and adduction the same to middle finger. Now some words I explain one again for retinaculum flexorum and retinaculum extensorum. I want to draw a diagram, but this diagram only for your understanding.